Hey, folks, welcome back to Traverse Talks. It's Friday, July 17th, and that means it's our local weekly news wrap. Here's what's happening in Grand Traverse County and the city of Traverse City this week, plus 2 additional stories that hit closer to home than you'd think. Traverse City commissioners are weighing tighter short-term rental caps by zoning district. Under the proposal, industrial districts would drop from 100% allowance down to 0. Development districts would fall to 25%, while the hotel resort district keeps its full 100% cap. It's really the latest chapter in the city's ongoing push to balance tourism accommodations against a housing shortage that squeezed workers and families alike. Traverse City Area Public Schools trustees have approved 23 bids totaling $42.1 million for the reconstruction of Central Grade School. That's the district's oldest and largest elementary. The project demolishes part of the West Wing, adds a new 2-story addition, and consolidates the school's front entrance. With design and engineering costs included, the total budget comes to $51 million, and that's about $4 million under the original estimate. And a heads up for your commute. Starting Monday, July 20th, northbound US-31 traffic will be detoured onto Reynolds, Cinder, Diamond Park, Gonder, and Riley Roads, plus J. Maddie Parkway. That's as MDOT finishes the final phase of its 7.8-mile rebuild between Sullivan Road and Reynolds Road. So if you're headed that way, plan ahead. Now let's turn to a couple of national stories we're watching, because even though they're playing out in Washington, they really land right here in Grand Traverse County. According to the Great Lakes Commission and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, heavy spring rain and snowmelt have pushed Great Lakes water levels 1 to 5 inches above last month and 3 to 13 inches above where they stood a year ago across most of the lakes. The Corps says the higher levels are actually helping freighter shipping this season. At the same time, Great Lakes cruise tourism is booming, with a projected economic impact topping $300 million in 2026. And that's a 25% jump over last year. That's a sharp reversal from the low water headlines that worried boaters and marine operators in recent years. For West Bay marinas and the growing cruise ship trade stopping right here in Traverse City, higher water is a rare piece of good news heading into the peak season. Our second story comes from the New York Times, which reported that the Trump administration has quietly acknowledged its own immigration raids and border crackdown have deepened labor shortages on American farms. That's a reversal from earlier promises that mass deportations would deliver a, quote, 100% American workforce. Instead, officials have turned back toward immigrant labor, making it cheaper for growers to hire workers through the H-2A temporary visa program by easing wage rules and shifting housing costs onto the workers themselves. The Times noted that roughly 70% of U.S. farm workers are foreign-born, and more than 40% lack legal status, leaving agriculture especially exposed whenever enforcement ramps up. It's a tension at the heart of the administration's immigration policy. Crack down on illegal labor while depending on that very labor to keep the nation's food supply running. And that national tension isn't abstract for us. Grand Traverse' own cherry and apple growers are already dealing with a rough season. A hard spring frost hit tart cherries across Michigan, and growers like King Orchards have reported delays getting H-2A workers on site right when harvest crews are needed most. Congress is now debating a bipartisan bill, the Securing Agriculture's Workforce Act, that would overhaul the H-2A program, though it faces a rocky path through the House Judiciary Committee. worth watching as our harvest season begins to wrap up. Anyway, folks, that's your Travers Talks News Wrap for the week of July 17th. Hey, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with more of what matters to Grand Traverse County and the city of Traverse City.